Hi all, Canio here again, just to give you a bit more of an update on what I've found out today, just to keep you up to date with the latest that I think is pertinent to your business. What we're going to discuss is basically some key insights for your business to consider. Yesterday I talked about what the ATO is going to help you with regarding, you might have heard the $150,000 depreciation, the PAYG 50% contribution to that, and various other ideas that they're put through that aren't, again, legislation. But tonight what I want to talk to you about more so is other things that's come through and from other areas that you guys no doubt will be aware of if you're running a business, i.e. payroll tax, work cover, liquor licensing. There's a little bit of information there that might help some hospitality clients. Some other government initiatives, but this time from the Queensland government. Bit of a HR update and some business planning. So let's go and start with the content, and we'll go with the ATO. So what they've come through now at the moment is that you can actually defer for 4 months income tax, activity statements, FBT, and excise. So that's starting from the next activity statement that you have. So that's the whole activity statement, including the PAYG withholding. So that can be basically deferred for 4 months. Now, the ATO is still saying that you have to be affected by the COVID-19. And if you can prove to me that you haven't been affected, then good luck, because I don't think there's going to be a massive threshold there to prove that you've been affected. But that's going to be really good. So 4 months. Now, I have to stress that please still lodge, right? You can't get a deferral on something that you don't lodge. This is a payment deferral, not a lodgement deferral. So make sure that you are still getting us information, or if you're doing it yourself, lodging the information. You'll have 4 months to pay those activity statements and income tax as they come up. The second one, if you know us well, how we work here, not a massive drama. We're very proactive in this area, but the ATO is allowing you to vary your March 2020 PAYG installment, that's your income tax installment, to zero. Thank you very much. So again, yeah, you can legally do it now and get put on zero, whereas a lot of times we basically do a mini tax return for you and we can vary it to what we think is best appropriate for you. But that is a provision, and that's because they've put it there. I'll put it on there to show you. But again, not a massive change of what you've done in the past. A good one, and again, something that I think is just common sense, that they will be remitting interest and penalties. However, if you can prove again that you're affected by the virus, and that's for only interest and penalties that incurred from the 23rd of January 2020. So in essence, if you think about the first point I put in the slide and that part, you are almost getting an interest-free loan, okay, for 4 months. Now, that's for people who really need it. Now, I don't want to have all you guys in 4 months coming back to me and going, hey, by the way, now I start to pay this. It's not a wiping of your account. It's actually a 4 month deferral of payment. So therefore, in 4 months, you'll be expected to pay that along with any other current liability you have. So just remembering, this is something that you can guys and utilize if you literally are finding it very tough to pay bills. Okay, so that's great. Now, I must stress though, nowhere have I seen anything discussing superannuation. So to me, because it's a separate SIS legislation, superannuation guarantee information and legislation, there's no changes there. So you must pay your super monthly or quarterly, depending on the size of your business, right? So make sure that you don't start assuming that superannuation is PAYG obligation, that it's actually a separate thing and you must pay that. So don't fall behind in super. Massive issues, massive penalties, and nightmare to go forward. So please ensure that you don't ignore that responsibility. Now, payroll tax. So payroll tax is a Queensland-based tax for any lucky people who pay those amount of wages. Now, one good thing has come in here is there's no need to lodge or pay until 3rd of August 2020. So, okay, fantastic. Again, not a wiping slate clean. We can only wish that happens down the track, but that's just a deferral to lodge and pay. Now, if you look at that the way I'm looking at it, it means you don't have to lodge. So therefore, you just forget about your payroll tax like it doesn't exist. And then on the 3rd of August, you come and dump in to your accountant, your lovely accountant, or your bookkeeper, or your clerk, all your payroll from February all the way to the end of the year, basically, and just say, okay, we'll put my my payroll tax return in and work out what it is. Now, that's going to be a nightmare, and you're going to actually have a potential quite massive liability that you have not even accounted for since today. So my my advice to you is to at least calculate the payroll tax. Now, I don't know whether if you lodge it, actually will make you pay with the due date. I will find that out for you guys, but please make sure you still calculate it and hopefully lodge it if they allow you to lodge it. But yeah, take the deferral out to August by all means, but don't just forget about the whole thing of payroll tax, because you will be finding a massive cash flow burden, and all you're doing is kicking it down the road, and that is going to be drama. So that's a good thing, good provision. Don't have to worry about paying payroll tax until the 3rd of August. I still think you should calculate it because officially it says you don't have to lodge it, which is a little bit silly in my mind. But that's something to have a think about and talk to me about what you decided to do there. Work cover. Now, I found this interesting. So this is based on information that has probably been sent to you already. So I've just snapshotted this to give you a bit of a summary in case you haven't had a chance to read it. Actually, McKelly sent this to me this morning. Any new claims in relation to COVID-19 will be determined and managed by a centralised team in line with the current legislation. Okay, they will also work with workers, employers, treating providers to determine how workers have sustained the condition and make decisions according to legislation. Now, please note, the workplace must be a significant contribution to contracting the virus. So this isn't, hey, work cover is going to step in if they believe that your worker's got a virus from his overseas travel or from down the pub or whatever. It's only if you can prove or significantly contributed of at the workplace. So again, work cover isn't ignoring their responsibilities there, so that's important. Liquor licensing. So this is realistically to help me with a lot of my hospitality clients that might find this interesting. Now, again, that's provided lockdown doesn't occur. So I'm having a lot of drama from a lot of the hospitality clients. It is really, really devastating out there. So this is going to try to help a little bit. So from 1 February to 31st July, liquor licensees will benefit from having fees waived for applications to change trading hours and temporarily or permanent change of license area. Okay, so that's for you guys. Again, come and speak to me. I'm sure your industry bodies have sent that around, but if you have any questions or you want to start to plan with me how that's going to work, send me or your team member an email. HR update. Now, this one here is, again, very high level because I do not want to let you think that I'm anywhere near a HR expert. There are numbers involved with HR, but doesn't necessarily mean an accountant is duly qualified to go through all that legislation with you. However, there's a lot of things that I want to discuss to you, and it's mostly about who pays for these things. Now, remember the top bit there. You as an employer have a duty of care towards your employees to provide a safe place of work, and it includes by not putting them in a position to become infected without taking all reasonable precautions. Okay, so again, legal jargon, what's reasonably, what's a precaution? It says all reasonable precautions. Well, how do we know what they all are potentially? So again, that's a legislative thing to think about. Again, nothing I can really comment on and give you more advice on that. But I want to know about who pays. Okay, so realistically, what happens in these scenarios? And again, high level information that I have received from clients, what I've received from HR people I speak to. So again, I'm just relaying to you guys to help you as best you can. But please, if you think that this thing needs to be looked at close up, come and email me directly, call me directly, or speak to any of your HR people that you have out there. So Okay, so an employee wants to work from home. They might find that they just feel that they don't want to travel on the bus. They their kids might be homesick or something or other, right? Well, end of the day, if the employee wants to work from home and you're allowing them to work from home, then that's okay. They just get paid normally. If the employee wants to work from home, then and your office is still safe and everything, then you basically can ask them to take leave, or it could be unpaid leave if they don't have any leave entitlements, right? If you've sent your employee home unwell, well, that would basically be part of sick pay because they're not well. Employee who's sent home because they're being tested for the virus, well, again, that's being sent home to protect the rest of your team. So they're sent home. They're not unwell. They're just being tested. Well, then in that case, that comes out of a leave or unpaid or take unpaid leave. If the employee is positive for the virus, then again, they'll probably get a letter for a doctor, and that'll be covered under sick pay, and that should be covered all by that. Now, the biggest things I really reckon is, okay, well, and this is where I'd love to get some more information. Hopefully, you kind of people listening can maybe email me or let me know what you guys think. But on a case of a shutdown, so a shutdown can occur in various ways. The information I have, it's all to do with the Department of Health. So if the Department of Health basically says your office is shut down, we're making we're making a determination that your employees cannot reasonably work elsewhere. So we have to shut the office or the warehouse or whatever you down. Then you can basically stand down. You should be able to stand down your employees. And that's basically it. So that'll be obviously paying out their long service leave or unused paid if that's the case as well. But that's that. Now, if the department does not shut down your business, then realistically, you elect to close your business down because of some of those factors we spoke about before, lack of patronage or something, then that again is on your bat. And for the advice that I've received, you still have to basically pay your employees their normal shifts that they'd be getting. Again, how if every single one of your employees is not allowed to work because they're in quarantine because one of your people had a positive test result come through, and you don't have enough people, then how does that work? So we'll have to look at joining the dots there, and potentially that's one of those situations where the Department of Health will say that you basically can't operate. There's also the case where you just don't have enough patronage coming through, or potentially we go into lockdown. So what happens then? I think that would be a stand down provision for force majeure. Now, so that's basically what I want to talk to you about that. So I'm sure by now you've got some more information, but I thought it was important to talk to you a little bit about that. Remember, it's very high level, nothing that is realistically authored by me there. That's just information that I've been able to source from people who have allowed me to use information and pass it on to you. Business planning. So I just want to touch on this because that's what you guys turn to us for is, okay, provided you with information, that's great, but also what can we do to limit the exposure? Because I think it could be months before the virus reaches its peak, and an effective vaccine is not expected in the short term. So we need to have this business continuity planning. You need to explore the potential end-to-end impact of the virus in your business. Define the risks and tolerances of each product or service that you do. Make informed decisions, on the strategic assessments, labour, currency changes, cost of materials, logistics, potential disruptions, supply issues, demand variability. So then we need to just look at, okay, where there are weaknesses, how can we potentially look at them? How can we make those weaknesses turn them into half of a weakness? So if something's very, very risky, well, how can we maybe halve that risk? If there's anywhere where we're very strong and have an advantage or competitive advantage, how can we double those advantages against our competitors? Okay. C, I know this is a hard one, but I think try to reduce debt and reassess projections for last investment in projects. So you might delay project to sort of ensure that you're not hampered by any potential suppliers that will pull the pin during your contract. So that's an important thing. I think important that I honestly think that cash is king in these situations. If you look back throughout all the GFCs and depressions and issues that we've had in the economies in the past, it's always been the people who walk away with old money or a bit of cash through these things have been able to move out of it very quickly and take some advantage away. So, yes, a lot of people are talking, okay, if I've got a couple of extra bucks, the share market looks cheap. Okay, fine. But look at cash flow. Okay. Ensure that your team communicates the changes they see because they're at the coalface all the time. Talk to your team. Okay, what are you seeing out there? What demand are you seeing? Your major customers, what are they not buying? What are they buying? Can we help them out? Look, I am helping you guys out. Can we have an appropriate reduction in trading stock? Can we reduce it? If stock's going to go out of date soon, maybe we can get rid of it now. It might be an overreaction to get rid of staff straight away. Can we just start to reduce their hours? Now, we've got to put some contingency plans in place because I've got people and clients that I know of who are taking this time to do a bit of gardening in terms of their business. Things that they've always put off to do, they're starting to do now. Scanning those documents in the computer, doing that, updating the procedure manual, getting all the terms and conditions of the information done. Like a lot of lawyers are working remotely too. So is it a time to speak to your lawyer about, these smaller things that have been sort of creeping into big things, like, getting your terms and conditions of everything done, getting your website updated, loading some new photos on your website. Those things should be looked at. Try to have enough capital and reserve to see you through, I think, at least 3 months. So you really need to look at cash flows. Now, you know that we champion Xero a lot. We're platinum partners. There's a lot of really easy reports that we can show you in Xero to start projecting your cash flow. Come and ask us about that and just having a look at a forward projection, a bit of a what if scenario. What happens if income that was projected to be $10,000 this month is now zero? Where does that leave us? Because there's a lot of variable and fixed costs that we need to look at. I also want to look at fail to plan is planning to fail. And you don't have to go out and prepare an in-depth 26,000-page business analysis of the opportunity. Hopefully, this coronavirus leaves us as quickly as it's come to us, and so therefore all these things will be yesterday's news. But in saying that, we need to at least have a chat. Now, business planning is exactly what you're doing now. You're listening to me talk about certain opportunities, threats that I'm discussing with you. You are starting to plan. Take a few notes. What can we do differently? Take steps, with your employees. Talk to employees who have family who've been overseas, all that sort of stuff. Talk to those employees who don't feel safe to take public transport. Is it so hard to literally pay for a cab to have an employee in your office or workplace? Right? Okay, not for everybody, but if you think about it, the downtime that you'll have by losing that employee, for the $100 it might even cost you a day to have that employee at your premises safe and secure in a cab, then potentially that may allow them to come to the office. So we can look at, again, and I'm touching on yesterday's point that I sent out, but can we look at working from home as best we can, right? Outsourcing. Can we reconfigure the physical workplace? Can we support flexible working arrangements? Can we discuss these things? If the answer is no, then the answer is no. You still planned it. Can we work with your supply chain partners to ensure they have a backup plan? Should there be a breakdown? This may involve, hey, can we get some increased inventory on longer terms from you guys, so therefore we're not waiting on you in case you shut down? Have a chat to your suppliers about that, right? I'm sure that they're thinking the same thing about you guys. Increasing cleaning the office. You don't think about this. Workplaces, keyboards, hygiene products at the front if you can get your hands on any. If you can, let me know exactly where you bought some, or buy me a few and send them over to me. Do you have a work from home policy? Renew it. Work it out. What is the work from home policy? What can they or can't they take home? What can they or can't they allow leaving hanging around? Start using video conferencing, telephones, those type of things. Back up your data, protect your digital data, and get important documents scanned. Because this is another issue that I noticed we had last week when we sent some people home to work. They needed documents, and so one of our admin team was forever scanning documents and then bringing it up on the cloud so they can access it. So start scanning stuff, get it out there, so you don't have to keep, like, if you have a standard set of manuals or something that's physically in the office, scan it, put it in somewhere secure. So then when you're at home or wherever you are, if there's a lockdown, you can access it. Okay. Simple things: up-to-date virus protection, secure your networks and firewalls, secure your password and password protection procedures, all those things. Okay, so these are the things that I guess we all take for granted, and things that I can and we at MURO can help you with. Now, this isn't by any stretch of the imagination a call to action for me to do more work for you. It's a call to action for you just to have a think about these things. It's also something that you can think about, and if you have to get us to help you with it, please call us. All right, speak to us. We are here and we are equipped as best we can. Pretty much all my day today was ensuring that we could ensure that we've got a workforce and a workplace that we are as proof as possible to counteract any dramas or disruptions we're going to have. I've also been dedicated a lot of time to doing this stuff, researching. I've spoken to a lot of industry bodies of my clients that are members or represent my clients or you guys. I've spoken to them. I'm trying to get in their ear. I'm trying to understand what they're listening to. Some of these industry bodies don't have much information. I'm sharing that. So that's what we're trying to do here. So please feel like it's a family place that you can actually pick up the telephone and call. We're trying to call you all as much as we can and keep you in the loop, and also just to see how you are. So please don't be a stranger. Give me a call. Now, I want to say a heart warm thanks to so many of my clients who have sent me emails overnight thanking us for what we're doing, but more so actually sending us information. I've got clients sending me information that they've got from their own industry, and they're only doing that so they can share it with you, other people who don't have it. So it just goes to show what sort of a community we have here at MURO, that we are collaborating to ensure that we have the best information out there as possible. There's a lot of content on this little webinar, and I have to press the stop button soon, or you probably will fall asleep at your desks or wherever you are at your work. But remembering that there are some measures put out there. The Queensland government has announced a $250,000 tax-free, interest-free loan to eligible businesses. So the information is not on the website yet, so I haven't included it in the slide, but it is coming. So that's going to be something that will hopefully try. What they're trying to do is get you to keep your staff on board. Now, again, I'm anti-loans if all it's going to do is make you clock up a lot of money to have to pay it back. So we need to do a plan about that. But thank you very much for helping. Thank you very much for your collaboration. We are there with you. We want to make sure that you guys are as healthy as possible, but also your business are as healthy as possible, and you're in the right frame of mind and business sense to make the most of this when we move out of it, because we will move out of it and we will continue to grow, and we'll work together. So please don't hesitate to call the team if you have any questions. And until next time, good night.